Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us for the August Vault webinar. My name is Amanda, and today we're going to cover the things you need to do to have success in the upcoming school year. As a reminder, this is a general overview, so some of the tools within Vault are not available to all chapters. If something is not available to you, we recommend you reach out to Operations Support or your national headquarters. Our agenda for today is Who is Omega Phi, reviewing your chapter's budget, setting up fall billing, updating your chapter roster, updating Vault users, and getting new chapter officer purchasing cards. As always, we welcome questions along the way, so please feel free to ask, but let's keep it general. Any specific questions to your chapter or how your organization uses a tool should be directed to Operations Support email for your organization. So let's get started. For more than 30 years, Omega Phi has provided technology solutions to help customers manage their finances, streamline their operations, recruit new members, and communicate with their members. Whether it's working with 57 different headquarters or local chapters, house corporations, IFC and Panhellenic councils, and alumni associations across more than 650 campuses, we remain the industry leader when it comes to technology in the fraternity and sorority community. We're based out of Columbus, Georgia. We securely process more than 1.1 million per day for our clients and have securely processed more than 4 billion since 1992. We're also deeply committed to serving, promoting, and advancing the fraternity and sorority experience. We aim to make raving fans with every individual or group we work with by reaching, innovating, and acting with agility. We challenge ourselves to dream big every day and to help others achieve their own dreams. To say we're passionate about what we do is an understatement, and it's this passion that has encouraged our clients to trust us to do the heavy lifting so they can focus on their mission and having fun. So now we're going to review creating a budget for your chapter. Creating a budget is an important step in setting your chapter up for financial success. One of the most important steps in building a successful budget is to adopt budget policies. These policies help develop a hierarchy of who, what, and when, and ensures consistency from officer to officer. Some examples of budget policies are who builds the budget, what time period will the budget cover, who will review and or approve the budget, when is the budget completed, and when is the budget communicated. Once you've established basic policies of who and when, you can begin building your budget. Let's start with your expenses. A great starting point for budgeting expenses is defining your fixed versus flexible expenses. Fixed expenses are required, so that includes rent, meal plans, national dues, and or insurance. Flexible expenses are based on what you use, so that can include formal, apparel, social, and other things. Once you've identified your fixed and flexible expenses, you're ready to begin creating your expense budget. To create your budget, you'll want to review the previous year's expenses for an idea of what to expect. This is going to be easier for groups that have maintained budget versus actual reporting or have an organized file system for invoices. If you have access to view bank statements, you can get an idea of purchases over the last 12 months. If your chapter traditionally uses bill pay for expenses, we have that historical data right here in Vault for you. If you don't have access to the kind of reporting that would make forecasting expenses easy, make it your mission to lay that foundation for the officers that come after you. Once you've reviewed your previous year's expenses, you'll want to input your fixed cost. These are items that are required. The final step is to review and add priority flexible expenses, then committee officer budgets requested. Now that you know exactly how much the chapter will pay out in expenses, it's time to budget the chapter's income to cover those expenses. First, you'll want to ensure you're accounted for fixed and flexible expenses, savings, and contingency plans. Then make sure you're billing enough to cover your chapter's expenses and adjust fees such as chapter dues, rent, meal plans, and national dues as needed. Adjustments to expenses may be necessary if an increase to chapter dues is not an option. If your chapter is unable to increase chapter dues, you'll need to review those flexible expenses and make cuts as needed. Next, review chapter policies and bylaws for items such as late fees, fines, and early payment discounts. Determine how those policies can affect member payments. These are incentives and ways to ensure timely payments from members, but do not rely on them. Any money received from these should be considered bonus funds and should not be accounted for in your chapter's projected income. Once you've determined your income and expenses, you're ready to enter your budget details into Vault. Omega Phi's budget tool makes creating and maintaining a budget easy and incorporates your budget in accounting reports to save you time. So if you'll give me just a moment, I'm going to switch over to Vault so I can show you how to do this. So to create a new budget in Vault, you'll go to the Accounting menu, and under the Accounting Tools, you'll click on Budgets. Here you'll click on Add Chapter Budget, and the budget type allows you to create a new budget from scratch or create a new budget from a previous period. If available, you can select a national template for the academic year, which you want to include national dues and fees charges. The budget name allows you to give your budget an intuitive name. We recommend you include the term and year for clarity. The accounting method is set to your organization's accounting type for your 990 reporting purposes. This is either cash or accrual. The begin date should be the start date of your organization's fiscal year, and the end date should be the end date of your organization's fiscal year. And then lastly, the budget notes allows you to enter any relevant notes for the budget. Once that's all filled out, you'll select Save and Continue and move to the next section, which is creating budget groups. Budget groups is a function that allows the chapter to separate individual committee budgets or group income and expenses based on their type. For example, you may have a budget group for housing, recruitment, social, operating, national dues and fees, etc. Budget groups may be changed at any time through the accounting menu under accounting tools and budget groups. As a side note, setting up budget groups may not be appropriate for all chapters, so this step is optional and may be bypassed by clicking Next Step in the bottom right-hand corner. The last part of step 1 is the questionnaire. Your answers submitted on the questionnaire tell the budget tool which national dues and fees charges apply to your chapter if you're building a budget using a national template. Now you're ready to enter all your expenses. If you're using a national template, use the national budget notes displayed at the top of the page as a guide while setting up the chapter's expenses. If you created budget groups, expense accounts are organized under the budget group they are assigned to. If an expense account is not assigned to a budget group, it will show at the bottom under Uncategorized. You can select See More for you to be able to see all the months and enter your expenses according to the month you expect the chapter will pay this expense. If multiple months are selected, you will need to divide the amount by the total number of months. For example, if the total amount equals $25, but it will be paid in September and December, you'll enter $12.50 in September and then $12.50 in December. Once all expenses have been entered, you'll click Continue to Next Step in the bottom right-hand corner. And then once you get to the income section, you will follow all of the steps in the same way you did on the expense section. Once you enter everything, you will click Continue to Next Step in the bottom right-hand corner. And then the final step in entering the chapter's budget is to review all income and expenses entered for accuracy. You can use the See More and See Less toggles to review each account code, and you can click the budget amount for each account code to view each line item included under that account code. It's important to ensure your income is at least equal to your expenses so the chapter does not run a deficit for the year. Your net income should always be in the black and never in the red. From this page, you may also add or edit budget notes and download various budget reports. You can use the blue navigation bar at the top to go back to a previous page at any time while creating your budget. Just click on the step you want to go back to. The step shaded in dark blue indicates which step you are currently on. Then you will click Save and Complete whenever you have finished creating your chapter's budget. Your chapter budget now lives in Vault and can be viewed and revised as needed by any Vault user with access to the accounting menu. Once the chapter's budget has been created, the budget will interact with the accounting reports in Vault under the accounting menu and report section. Using the income statement to view the budget versus actual report will help the chapter track their actual income and expenses versus what was budgeted for the year. The income statement provides transparency of the chapter's finances and insight into budget adjustments that may need to be done. The income statement also provides a budget performance report that is a helpful tool when preparing the next year's budget. So now we're going to review how to set up fall billing. To review or set up your fall billing, go to Vault, and under the billing menu, you'll click under Statement Details, the billing overview. From there, you will use the billing cycle setup tool, which will go into more detail in just a moment, to create your fall billing. Please note that this is a general overview, so some chapters do not have access to this tool and some have limited access. If you have specific questions regarding your chapter, contact your operations support team. If fall billing is established, you need to go in and review for accuracy, and then go ahead and complete your billing cycle checklist. You'll receive a notification to complete it in the top right-hand corner of Vault under the bell icon. If fall billing is not established, go ahead and get it set up. If you have anything lingering from summer, you can include that in your first cycle of fall billing. For example, recruitment fees and other incidentals such as t-shirts. Also, make sure to include national dues and fees, Omega Phi fees, and accounting fees. So now I'm going to show you how to navigate the Billing Overview tab and how to use the Billing Cycle Setup tool, which allows you to set up your chapter's billing each semester. To begin, you'll click on the Billing menu and then click on Billing Overview. In this tab, on this menu, it will show you 4 sections, which include billing cycles, scheduled charges, billing options, and the billing summary. The billing overview displays scheduled charges for a particular term, winter, spring, summer, or fall, according to cycle, billing type, transaction description, and account. The first section, billing cycles, displays the cycle's name and year, the specific cycles, important dates, and if late fees apply. The scheduled charges displays a breakdown of the billing cycles by billing group, and each billing group shows a breakdown of charges per description, income account, and the dollar amounts for each cycle. You can click on Edit Charges to add or edit charges for each particular billing group. Make sure each member is assigned to the correct billing group. Billing groups are groups of members with like billing, and each member receives a billing group in accordance with their appropriate billing. Administrators can update billing groups by going to the billing menu and then update billing groups. Each of these sections that are highlighted in blue represent a billing group. You can categorize members with like charges into each of these groups. When I show you how to set up billing, I'll show you how to edit billing groups and create billing groups. As was mentioned when going over how to budget, you need to make sure your scheduled charges are enough for your budget. Under the billing options display, it displays your chapter's current late fee and prepayment discount settings. We do recommend late fees as an incentive for on-time payment and prepayment discounts as an incentive for early payment. Please contact your support team if you have questions or if you need to change your settings. The billing summary displays a summary of your chapter's billing for the current term by billing group, transaction description, and income account. The billing group and transaction description show a further breakdown of charges per cycle. So now let's move on to the billing cycle setup tool. In order to set up billing, you'll click on the Setup Billing button. And then in the term, you'll choose the term and the year. And then you're going to select the first due date. You'll then select how many days you want late fees to apply to the account. You can select up to 7 days. And then the cycle dates pre-fill for you. If you need to add any additional cycles, you can click on the plus sign and add those as needed. Then you'll click Next. And then from here, you're going to select the term from which you wish to copy charges. All billing cycles are copied from a previous term and can then be edited. Each billing group is listed with copied charges, and each group has an option to edit the name of the group, add notes to the group, and edit the charges. So you can edit the name by clicking on Edit Name, or you can edit charges by clicking on Edit Charges. Here you can edit the descriptions and the income account, and then include your charges. Please note when copying charges from a previous term, make sure those charges apply to this term. Copying previous charges is a guide, but make adjustments according to this term. So once you've entered the information, review all of the billing information before approving it, and then click on the Save button. If you need to add additional billing groups, you can do that in this section. You'll click on Add Billing Group, and then you'll enter the group name and the description. Once you're done editing charges, you'll click Next. And then here you will review and approve your billing cycle setup. Once you do that, you'll click Save and Complete in the bottom right-hand corner. To make sure your members are being billed correctly, you'll want to check the Update Billing Group and Update Billing Status menus. Again, billing groups are members grouped together that have the same charges. You can update a member to a different billing group as needed under the Update Billing Group tab. So here, if you need to move a member from, say, new member to seniors, you can do that and then go here to update the billing group. I will go over billing status in more detail in just a moment. If you need assistance with setting up a billing cycle, you can reach out to your operations support team or watch the billing setup webinar in our help center. So the next thing that you need to ensure is that your chapter roster is up to date. So under the chapter menu, this is where you go and you can view your member roster. You can add new members, archive members, update member statuses, and do your member initiation reporting. To add new members, you can add them individually or you can add them en masse. And then you can use the template that is provided for you in Vault and upload it if you have a lot of members joining. Another thing that you need to make sure to do is update your member statuses. This is extremely important. Member statuses are what talks to your national headquarters and what determines how much they bill your chapter. If a member has graduated, mark them as an alumni so your chapter does not get charged for them. You can filter by the status you need to update. So in this case, we're going to filter by initiate, and then we're going to change them to alumnus. Once you do that, you'll click Update Member Statuses. And if you are required, if you need to submit member initiation reports, you can do that from the chapter menu as well by going to the member initiation reporting section. You also need to update your billing roster. Here, you go to the billing menu and update billing statuses. Updating billing statuses is also extremely important, and it's different than member statuses. Like I said, member status is what tells your national headquarters what they are to bill the chapter. Billing status is what lets Omega Phi know what members to bill and not bill. So an active billing status means that members will receive new charges automatically. Inactive billing status means members do not receive charges automatically. If a member has graduated or depledged and they no longer should receive charges, go and change their billing status to inactive. So here we're going to go in and change these members to inactive. If a member has a balance, we will continue to send them statements until that balance is paid, even if they are marked inactive. Another thing that you need to do is update Vault users. You do that through the gear icon. You'll click on Vault users. And if you need to remove any members who no longer need Vault access, you'll click on Edit, and then you'll remove their access. If you need to add users, you'll click on Add User. You'll choose the user and then give them the access that they need for each menu. The next thing that you need to do is making sure that your officer purchasing card is up to date. So if a card holder is graduating or has graduated, ensure that you cancel the card and get cards with the correct name. When the officer purchasing card expires, you must order a new one. And just a few general reminders, we have a new login process that requires members to reset their password. Go ahead and email your members to get logged in and do that before the semester starts. If they are having issues with logging in, they can contact login support at omegaphi.com. Members can go into their My Omega Phi and update their profile information, link their parents to their account, and also remind them if they have auto pay set up, they need to make sure the credit card isn't expired. You also need to check to see when your chapter needs to file taxes. Filing taxes is based off your fiscal year, which can be found in Vault under the chapter menu and chapter detail. The Form 990 tax return is due to the IRS by the 15th day of the 5th month following your chapter's fiscal year end. And as a side note, just because it's submitted on Vault on the 15th doesn't mean it's been submitted to the IRS. Ideally, you should submit the 990 report no later than 2 weeks prior to the return due date. With that being said, these are the dates your Form 990 tax return is due. It's due on May 15th for fiscal year ending 12/31, October 15th for fiscal year ending 5/31, and November 15th for fiscal year ending 6/30. And when you're in Vault and you have any general questions that you need immediate help with, you can go to our Get Help Center for articles and previous webinars that have been completed. Thank you for attending our webinar. I hope that you found it helpful. It will be available to view on our YouTube channel and in our Get Help Center. Have a great afternoon.